INN will return after a word from our sponsor.
The ongoing saga.
Prosecuting the witness.
Not a chance, Gino. A sketch from the studio. I do wonder if that book contained a sketch. Can I scroll through my inventory here? I can. So what have we gained from Leonardo's studio? We've got the lens filter, we've got a preserved Haas. Immediate thought is that might be useful in Farnstein's lab. At this point, I'm thinking let's check out Chichen Itza, because I don't know if there's anything we can do by going back to the chateau. I think that area is pretty thoroughly explored, and all we've got for our efforts are a bunch of locked doors. Alright, let's take a look at the fourth and final time zone, or the first time zone. Chichen Itza. Once again, apologies if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Chichen Itza. Sometime around 1000 AD, the ancient Mayan civilization of the Yucatan Peninsula began to die out for reasons yet unknown. Also around this time, the Mayan capital of Chichen Itza played host to newcomers in the form of the Toltecs, a culture closely related to the Aztecs. No one knows for sure whether the Toltecs invaded the Mayans at Chichen Itza, or if migrating survivors of their own dying culture were simply allowed to settle there. Your mission is to observe the resident culture and gather information that will lead to a definitive answer to this question. What was the question? I didn't see a question mark here. Whether the Toltecs invaded the Mayans, or if migrating survivors of their own dying culture were simply allowed to settle there. So, did the Toltecs invade, or did the Mayans say, yeah, you can just hang out here for a bit? No one knows the answer, and we're not going to find out because we're not coming there for that purpose. Warning! There will be human presence in this environment. Gather footage from a safe distance and avoid being seen. Destination coordinates have been scanned and cleared. Alright, so let's check it out. These low poly pyramids, good god. Alright, I've got vague memories of what happens if you walk down the stairs here, which means we have to do it. Oh, can I translate this? There we go. Human presence detected 500 meters ahead. We've got to do it. They sound happy. Reality distortion wave detected. Okay, so this isn't Agent 5's death. We actually caused a wave. Blatantly disregarding warnings that he was approaching primitive peoples, Agent 5 proceeded into a populated area of Chichen Itza. Upon seeing such a strange being, the natives immediately dropped to their knees in homage to the god that came from the pyramid. Agent 5 decided to stay a while. They built a frigging... Oh my god. Yeah, that would have really screwed things up, I guess. Wow. We've got a critical evidence, we've got a bunch of supporting evidence, a few more research bonuses. Still lagging behind on puzzles solved. Alright, Arthur? For a start translating?
Ah, the pelota field. The Maya played a game which was kind of a cross between basketball and soccer. Without using their hands or feet, they'd have to knock a hard rubber ball through a slightly larger stone hoop as high as 30 feet off the ground. No such thing as sore losers, mainly because the losers were decapitated.
Are you making this up, Arthur? It's just trying to play basketball with a 10-meter high hoop without using your feet or hands sounds impossible.
Overlooking the ball court is the Temple of the Jaguars, which also function as box seats for the royalty. I would guess that we're standing on the High Priest's grave pyramid. Historians have theorized that before it was a tomb, it was used for some other ceremonial purpose.
Immediate thought is a ritual sacrifice.
I think this relief is depicting a lower priest or supplicant to the priesthood making an offering to the water god. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that symbol represents a cave inside a mountain. The Toltecs believe that the underworld was entered through a cave.
Lovely. Okay, nothing here. Libations must be made to the Lords of the Night to gain passage into the realms of the underworld. Yeah, we can't go down from here because we lose the game instantly. A supplicant must prove his worth by passing the trials of the underworld.
Gage, look at this. This is a representation of one of the 9 trials of the underworld.
9?
That's definitely Tezcatlipoca, the Toltec god of war. The legend says that when a person died, their soul would have to travel through 8 levels of the underworld en route to the Deadland. On each one, they'd have to pass a trial given by the god that ruled that level. After passing all of the trials, they'd be allowed into the Deadland, where they spend eternity without joy or suffering.
Pass the trials to spend eternity without joy or suffering. Sounds fantastic.
That circular building is the Caracol, which means snail. The Maya built it as an astronomical observatory. They'd line up the sun and moon through rectangular slits in its walls to identify important days like the summer and winter solstices. Behind the observatory is the Casa de las Monjas, or nunnery.
Once again, you're being a little bit too educational, Arthur. Please stop that.
That huge pyramid is the Castillo. It's dedicated to Kukulkan, who was the Mayan equivalent of the Aztec serpent god Quetzalcoatl. The structure behind it is the Temple of the Warriors. An interesting thing about El Castillo is that it was built on top of a smaller, older pyramid. In fact, some of the other Mayan pyramids have been built over the previous pyramid as many as 6 times, with the old temples still remaining underneath.
Futurama was right.
This is a little hard to see, but I think it's a depiction of a ceremony. It looks like a priest or supplicant is making an offering to a god.
We just heard about that.
Those are Mayan hieroglyphs. They had a pretty sophisticated pictograph writing system. Unfortunately, my Mayan's a little rusty right now.
Fortunately, we got this. Only after passing the trials may a supplicant gain counsel with the gods to pay homage. I know something you don't, Arthur.
That square building over there is the Casa Colorada. Historians believe it was the house of the high priest.
I've got memories of dying here.
That's a chalk mule. They were pretty common in Chichen Itza. Generally, if you wanted to be accepted by the gods, you'd place an offering in the chalk mule's hands. I've only seen pictures of them facing away from the temple, though. I wonder why this one's facing inward.
It's probably a trap. Chichen Itza. Hopefully I've got that pronunciation correct. I wonder if the heart is going to come invaluable here. We're sacrificing something. Oh god. There is a blue substance inside this boldly painted ceramic tripod bowl.
This is a Mayan ceremonial calendar. The larger disc has 20 month names inscribed in it, and the smaller one numbers the days. When they're spun, they make a month-day combination where they meet. If you do the math, that's 260 different combinations, each of which represent a day of the ceremonial year.
How many on a small disc? (13 × 20). Yeah, that's math.
Historians think that certain days of the ceremonial year were reserved for honoring the gods with human sacrifices, bloodletting, and other fun rainy day activities. Hey, what can you say? I guess the Mayans can be summed up with one simple word: fun.
I can think of another word that starts with F.
This looks like an ordainment ceremony. That guy with his head lowered is probably a supplicant to the priesthood who's just passed his rite of initiation.
What's wrong with their faces? And is that the bowl with the blue stuff?
It seems like these scenes are showing ceremonies that take place in this temple. It was destroyed long before anyone had a chance to record any of these murals, so we're the very first ones to see what it might have been used for. Considering that the priests are wearing their best jaguar hides, I'd say this scene is depicting a pretty important religious ceremony. This is a list of some sort. I'm not sure what it represents, but each column seems to end with a date.
There's a lot of stuff here. Let me just make a save, and I'll grab my phone because we're going to have to translate this. Possibly write some of it down because I will not remember what it says. Nothing has gone horribly wrong just yet. The holy vessel, is that what I just picked up? The holy vessel contains the breath of Itza. To touch the holy vessel is to become a vessel to the word of Itza. I don't think I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I don't care. Homage must be paid to 4 Lords of the Night before the layman is allowed to touch the holy vessel of ordainments. The chuck ball grants entrance to the underworld only on sacred days. Okay, the chuck ball is outside. It grants entrance to the underworld only on sacred days. Oh, good God. So I assume the number on the left here, or this wheel. Yeah. How do I spin that? So this here is the day, and this here is the month. So the question is, what is the sacred day here? Or are they all sacred days? Homage must be paid to 4 Lords of the Night. How do I pay homage to the 4 Lords of the Night? What would we consider to be a Lord of the Nights, chat? Death is going to be one of them for sure. God of War, perhaps? Purification? Maybe rain? Let me just start with this. Let me try and find rain. So the 12th of... It'd be really nice if I put them into alphabetical order or something. So I can change that. Oh God. 12 rain. I'm losing my mind, chat. What, lightning, not rain? So that says 12 lightning there. You have anything for me, Arthur? Any final words of advice before I kill myself? We survived.
I knew that archaeologists found a series of natural caverns underneath this pyramid, but I don't think anyone's ever been able to figure out what they were used for. The Maya believe that the underworld was entered through a cave, so it's a good bet that that's what this place represented to them. Judging from what we've seen, I'd say that this is some sort of proving grounds, probably for supplicates to the priesthood. And considering that their word for the underworld was Sibalba, which literally means place of fright, I'll bet this was no funhouse.
Yeah, something about 9 trials, and once we get through them, there's no joy or something else. I don't remember what. Either way, it was awful.
As I recall, the Mayan heavens in the underworld were usually represented as a 13-step pyramid on top of an upside-down 9-step pyramid, with the earth as a flat plane in between. The 13 gods of the heavens ruled the daytime, and the 9 gods of the underworld the night. That's why they called them the Lords of the Night. Their heavens were pretty exclusive. Only certain people like sacrifice victims and children were let in. The underworld was for everyone else. Anyone that didn't get into heaven would have to make the journey through the 9 levels of the underworld to the Deadland, which was ruled over by the god of death.
I do wonder if anything different would have happened if I had chosen a different god. Oh god. Skull from cavern. This is a skull from a skeleton found in the natural subterranean caverns below Chichen Itza.
That skeleton isn't exactly fresh. They've obviously been using these caverns for a long time. Either that or they left it here for foreshadowing.
Cute. I'm glad I pixel hunted. Copper medallion. This Mayan medallion was likely worn during religious ceremonies. It is made of pure copper. Oh, can I take that back to the chateau perhaps and melt that? Arthur did mention copper, so maybe. I have a feeling I'm going to die any second. Like the ceiling's going to collapse or a stalactite's going to fall. Anything at all. Okay, which way are we going? Oh my god. Okay, there's 4 doors here. 4 trials? And just like that, I'm lost. Okay, I think that's the one on the left. That's the way I came. That seems incredibly dangerous. Translate please after this.
Gage, relax. It's a door.
Okay, cute. Can I see anything here? Those who wish to gain counsel with Tlaloc? Not sure how to pronounce that. Must cross the waters of disbelief on the stepping stones of faith. It's a riddle. We're all screwed. Uh... How much stuff can I actually sacrifice here? I'm assuming there's a very specific object that I had to use to get inside there, and I do not have that object. The Gino Andrews single didn't let me in there. That's disgraceful. I do know that the metal bar can't be put in there either, which makes me think that if we go back to the lab, maybe we cannot pick up the metal bar again.
You put your offering in this receptacle, the door closes, and it's taken by someone or something to be judged for its worthiness. I don't believe in magic or the powers of the gods, but it may be possible that there are acolytes living in alcoves within these walls, and all they do is collect the offerings and open the doors if they're good enough.
Makes sense, I guess. Although I imagine everyone's dead by now. Okay. Let's see if we can get into door number 2. I think I've pushed up a few too many times. Yep, okay, never mind. We'll check out door number 3. Ooh. I'll go for it right now. That should not be here. Cool. What the hell is it? Replicated glass fragments inconsistent with technology level of this time period. Broken glass. Maybe a glass jar was put in there, perhaps? The final trial is the first sacrifice. You're telling me this is the final trial? Okay, I don't appear to be able to put things in there. Arthur? Arthur's got nothing, okay. Okay, this looks like an Om Nom Nom door.
Hey, nice door. Didn't I see Bob Vila make one of these on this old pyramid?
Once again, I do not understand that reference. Those who will represent the god of wealth must turn their backs to worldly possessions and lower their heads in humility. That immediately makes me think of the copper wrestling belt or whatever it is. It's totally a wrestling belt, chat. Let me make a save because I don't want to go through that evidence collection again. Let me sacrifice that. But my immediate thought is I might have to take that back to Chateau Gaillard and do something with it, perhaps. Nothing, okay. Let's sacrifice some other stuff. The god of wealth. Let's go and can't put that in there. Okay, so none of those apparently are the answer. Unless the puzzle is more complicated than this, maybe I've got to put something in the first one, something in the second, something in the third, and they'll all open up simultaneously. God, I hope not. That's the wrong one. I apologize. The way that's worded makes me think this is the final door. Only those who have conquered their demons are welcomed in the presence of the god of war. Conquered their demons. Boom. Progress.
You put your offering in this receptacle, the door closes, and it's taken by someone or something to be judged for its worthiness.
Oh!
I don't believe in magic or the powers of the gods, but it may be possible that there are
We've heard it, Arthur.
acolytes living in alcoves within
I have
these
to go
walls.
forward immediately.
All they do is collect the offerings and open the doors if they're good enough.
Okay, that was freaky. Arthur spoke through the load. We have to go forward here. If I turn left or right, I'm hosed. Oh, God. How long before I die? Skull from the entry. A skull from a skeleton found in the natural subterranean. Yeah, that's exactly the same. I know I'm going to die in just a moment. That opens something. Can I pry it open with that, perhaps? Once again, technology limitations kicking in here. Will this stop it? This seems wildly unsafe. The ancient mines were hardcore. Okay, that's a problem. Is there anything else I can do to prop this? Oops. Pushed it twice. We don't get a gruesome death scene. Apart from this. While exploring the caverns below Chichen Itza, Agent 5 attempted to pass the Hall of Spears. He figured out how to stop the spears, but overlooked an important aspect of the puzzle. How to keep them stopped. The resulting perforations were fatal. I accidentally pushed up twice. Do I have anything else that can prop these? If not, I'm going to need a third skull. I really thought the metal bar would work. Okay, so question, can I grab this and run? Yes. Now the problem I've got now is that I've only got one skull. But that wouldn't be much of a puzzle if I came in here with 3 skulls, would it? Is that another skeleton there? It's either that or I've got to make a hell of a run for it. Oh, I think it is. There we go. Skull from Spear Room. Same thing. Do you have anything else on your person, sir or madam? Or other? I could possibly make a dash for it with that one unplugged, but I don't think I'll reach that. Plus, you know, this does seem like a pretty neat, tidy solution to this. Let me make a save. We are through the Hall of Spears. That's an official name, chat. That door's locked. That's a problem. This door is unlocked. Wait. I didn't see the pointer cursor here. Is this door actually unlocked? It's not. So what does... This one opens the door behind me. Yeah, I was looking at that and thinking that didn't look different. What if I... Oh god, hang on. Brain not work good. Does this one close the door in front of me? Come on. Yeah, it does not. Okay. We're through.
Tezcatlipoca was one of the most feared gods. His name means smoking mirror. They called him that because in addition to being a fierce warrior, he was also known for his pranks and illusions. Kind of the Mayan Doug Henning.
Who? Showing my ignorance here, chat. Okay, that looks like one part of a key. Obsidian block. This is a pyramid-shaped block of obsidian. The war god, I can't pronounce that, so I won't. And we've picked that up. There's a little impression in the ground there. So I assume what I have to do is I need to find two other items that will let me into the other two doors. And then come back. Okay, I wasn't actually locked in there at all. Because, yeah, I think that obsidian block is not going to be enough to get me through the door on the right. Let me just confirm that. Yeah, it's part of it. I've got to go through the other two trials first to get in here. I'll load in a moment because I don't want to lose that. Never mind, I've got it in my inventory. What the hell? This talks about wealth. Must turn their backs to worldly possessions and lower their heads in humility. Do I have to put something in there and look down, perhaps? There's nothing on the ground here. That'll be a very trolly thing to do, to say, lower your head in humility and turn around. There's like a coin on the ground here or something. My immediate thought regarding that, though, is we've got a copper medallion or whatever it is, and we can take that to the chateau and maybe melt that down. What was over here? We must cross the waters of disbelief on the stepping stones of faith. It's asking us to put an item into that thing, but I can't help but feel that this is directly related to these stepping stones that we just crossed. Is there another way across this area, perhaps? something that I missed? Like, is there a path here? Not that I can see. Alright, I've got two potential start points. The first is to go back to the chateau. The second is to go to Farnstein's lab, which I've not considered until this very moment. So let me jump to the chateau and we'll see if we can melt this medallion.